Hello everyone, my name is Manish Sethi. I hope you all are staying healthy. Today we are going to talk about critical minimum effort theory. This theory is given by Harvey Leibenstein. As we know, overpopulated and underdeveloped countries are stuck in vicious cycle of poverty. Means their per capita income is very low. This theory provides solution of this economic problem. According to this theory, critical minimum efforts are necessary to achieve steady economic growth. What do you mean by critical minimum efforts? Critical minimum efforts means minimum level of investment that is necessary for economic development of underdeveloped countries. This theory talks about shocks and stimulants. Shocks are those forces that reduce level of output, income, employment and investment. Or we can say that shocks depress our development forces and reverse the wheel of our development. For example, old technology, overpopulated country, lack of infrastructure, lack of human skill, etc. On the other hand, stimulants are those forces which raise the level of output, income, employment and investment. And stimulant encourage our economic development. That's why it will be called income generating forces. And these forces lubricate wheel of development. For example, advanced technology, good human skill, proper infrastructure, etc. And according to this theory, underdeveloped countries have strong impact of shocks than stimulant. On the other hand, developed countries have strong impact of stimulant than shocks. Now, with the help of this diagram, we will clearly understand this theory. As we earlier discussed, minimum level of investment is necessary for growth of underdeveloped country. But if underdeveloped country do investment which is less than the minimum level, or we can say that if underdeveloped country do investment which is below the minimum level, then underdeveloped country will not grow. It will again stuck in vicious cycle of poverty. But why? We will clearly understand with the help of this diagram. In this diagram, on x-axis we have per capita income and induced income growth, and y-axis we have per capita income and induced income decline. This 45-degree line shows balanced economic growth and measure increase or decrease in per capita income. This SS curve, this one curve shows shocks. As we earlier discussed, shocks are income depressing forces, and KK curve shows stimulant. As we earlier discussed, stimulant are income generating forces. E is our initial equilibrium point. At this equilibrium point, our economic development is very low. So this E point shows lower equilibrium point. At this point, shocks are more than stimulant. You can see shocks curve was above than stimulant curve. So our income is OA. Now suppose we do some investment in underdeveloped country which is less than the critical minimum efforts, or we can say which is less than the minimum required investment. Because of this investment, obviously income will increase. As we know, when investment increase, output increase, employment increase, income also increase. Because of this investment, our income increase from OA to OM, and per capita income can increase up to LA level. But at this level, our economy will not grow because our investment is less than the required investment. At this level, our shocks are more than stimulant. You can see our shocks are FB. This B point touches our shocks curve. Our shocks are FB, but stimulant are FA. FB is more than FA. That means shocks are more than stimulant. Because shocks are more than stimulant, that's why our economy will again come back to this lower equilibrium point E. You can see our economy is moving from A to E point. Initially move from A to B, then B to C, and C to K, and finally our economy has moved from from this higher A equilibrium point to E point, because at this level shocks are more than stimulant. Our income depressing forces are more than income generating forces. That's why economy has moved from this higher equilibrium point A to this lower equilibrium point E. Now, with the help of one example, we will clearly understand why our economy has moved from this higher equilibrium point to this lower equilibrium point. Suppose we do some investment in underdeveloped country which is less than the minimum required investment. We do some investment on small scale industry. As a result, for short time period, employment and income increase in our economy. Our income increase from OA to OM point. But in our economy, shocks are more than stimulant. Shocks are FB, but stimulant are FB. More shocks means our population is very high and this income is not enough for high population, and there is no human skill, old technology, no proper infrastructure. As a result, these industries are not able to compete with advanced industries and they shut down their businesses. As a result, employment and income fall in our economy and we again come back to this lower equilibrium point E. Now suppose we do investment which is equal to minimum required investment. As a result, our income increase from OA to OP and per capita increase can up to HT point. At this T point, you can see our shocks become equal to stimulant at higher equilibrium point. After T point, you can see our shocks are reducing. You can see shocks curve is going downward, but stimulant are increasing. Stimulant curve is going upward, means our economy is continuous growing. We understand with the help of one example. Suppose we do investment on infrastructure, technology and human skill which is actual required in our country. That investment is equal to minimum required investment. Eventually this investment promote growth of so many industry, and these industry now continue grow because now there is no obstacles in their growth in terms of lack of technology, human skills or infrastructure. So we can say that critical minimum level of investment is necessary for growth of underdeveloped country. But if they will do investment which is less than the minimum investment, then they will not grow and again stuck in the vicious cycle of poverty. But if they do investment that is equal to critical minimum level of investment, then they will definitely grow. Now we will say criticism. This theory don't describe any precise relation between population and income growth. This theory ignore non-economic factors. This theory only talk about economic factor for growth but ignore non-economic factor. Neglect monetary and fiscal policy. As you know, monetary and fiscal policy play very important role, but this theory ignore this. Based on closed economy. International trade also very important, but this theory is based on closed economy. Neglect the role of government. Government play very important role, but ignore the role of government. Neglect time factor. According to this theory, critical minimum efforts, or we can say minimum required investment, is necessary for growth of underdeveloped country. But from where underdeveloped country arrange fund for this investment? It is very difficult for underdeveloped country to arrange fund for these kind of investment. So we can say this theory suffer from both theoretical and practical weaknesses. So this is all about critical minimum effort theory. I think you got it, and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye, take care.